Hello, this is Quintus Hegie from Subconscious Mind Training, and I'm very excited today to have an interview with this very nice lady I met, who is also an intimacy coach. So I will briefly introduce you to her, and we will talk and explain a bit about nice aspects of the combination of what I do with my mind play and erotic mind play, and help you get more relaxed and get more into your pleasure by using your subconscious mind, feeling relaxed, and so you will be very experienced in conscious kink and things. Introducing Ariane Lalakea. She's an international educator, facilitator, coach and practitioner in the field of intimacy and erotic leadership. And in her teaching, she combines the Western world of positive psychology and trauma awareness with the Eastern traditions of Tantra and Yoga. She's the co-founder of BliXX. That is an international brand that hosts transformative conscious kink retreats around Europe.
Yes, hello. Thank you for having me here.
What I work a lot with is with people that have, for example, with problems with getting to a state of bliss, to experiencing eroticism, and especially if you're beginning in this area, then you may be looking a bit about, you may be a bit that when you think about kink, that's a bit your specialty, that that's a big step to take as a first thing. So I'm very curious about if someone is just beginning out, like you know a bit how to have eroticism, how to enjoy sex a bit, but it's you want to spice it up just a little bit more, but you don't want to go to these very big kink things that may be a bit too much of a step. How does it work? How do you make a first step in using this conscious kink, and what actually is it?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. Thank you. I know that kink and BDSM sounds very dark. There's a lot of societal prejudices around it, of like, oh, it has to be to do with pain, or I have to be a masochist or a sadomasochist in order to enjoy it. But my goal or my mission is to take back or break those prejudices, and to make people aware that in essence we're all kinky. It's about breaking out of the normative. This is what kink is, to do it different. So anything that is outside missionary, oral sex and kissing. So even anal would be kinky. So
Ah,
it
yes.
is
Okay.
about
Yeah.
bringing different flavors into the way how you're connecting. So how you get started with this is not to feel like, oh, am I into pain? It's more the question that you already asked is like, how can I spice it up more? How can I bring in more playfulness into my bedroom? How can I learn about myself through my sexuality? These are the questions that eventually lead you to kink. We're sitting in the field of conscious kink, so this element of personal development is very crucial in everything that we're proposing. And in essence, everything is Tantra because everything is sacred. There is no sexual expression that would not be sacred or labeled as long as it's consensual, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
consent plays a big role here.
And what exactly is Tantra?
Well, Tantra is an ancient Eastern philosophy that teaches us how to master our own sexual energy. And when they're referring to sexual energy, they're referring to the life force energy. In yoga, this is known as Kundalini. Maybe you have heard this.
Yes. Yes.
Or
Yeah.
in Chinese tradition, it's called Qi. So it's the vibration, the energy that creates us and that keeps us moving. So it's about learning how to master this energy. And with this, connecting to something that is bigger than ourselves. It's a spiritual philosophy, so it has a lot to do with connecting to everything that is bigger than us. So it's about understanding our inner world and also learning from that deep understanding about the outer world, coming into a space of equanimity, coming into a space of bliss, increasing your capacity to meet life with all that it is. And this is the essence of the teachings of Tantra.
To access this state, do we need to do special things? Or, for example, let's say someone has practiced a bit of yoga. Is that a bit of similar energy? How would you relate that?
Yoga is part of Tantra. So all the philosophy of yoga is in the bigger essence part of Tantra. Tantra literally in Sanskrit means technique or tool. So it's a way to cultivate that energy.
When I work with the mind training, one of the first things I often do with my clients is to learn to relax, just to get a bit back into your own body, back into your own mind. And the first thing, people are quite stressed, quite awfully, you have many things to do. So I learn them to relax, and through the way of breathing, we charge the breathing in your body, breathing in, breathing out, get back to your own energy, to your own flow. And this is typically an entry point that I use to then start adding more the healing aspects. For example, when someone has an erection problem, when he's with a new lady, or for ladies that have a bit problem reaching orgasm, I will always start with the breathing exercise to come back into your body, into this energy flow. Perhaps this is very related to, for example, when you do yoga exercises, or maybe also when you do this conscious kink. What I find very interesting, I joined some of your workshops and some of your trainings, is that this event that you do together with the group, other people that are also exploring a bit their sexuality, we go there in a sober way. Why is that? Because I know a lot of people that when they want to go out and maybe meet someone, have intimacy, they typically go to drink alcohol. But these events, you really make them without alcohol or those things. Why is that?
When we want to connect to ourselves, as we've been saying before, right? Through Tantra, through breathing, through all of that, it helps to be really feeling in the ability of feeling. So
Yeah.
usually what we often do in this, what you might come across when you start to explore a little bit, is that people are asking or inviting you to close your eyes. So we really take away the sense of seeing to come inward and to feel what is happening inward. When we're taking intoxications, any way of intoxication, alcohol or whatever, it it stimulates other senses and it takes us away from our authentic like scanning of what is alive. Alcohol usually makes you much more extroverted. You want to talk, you want to bar, you're like, oh, John, I totally get that people are more loose, so to say. Also,
Yeah.
when it comes to approaching or stepping over your barrier to engage or seduce somebody. But this is exactly what these spaces are offering that I'm creating, a space where you can meet that edge, where you can feel through the nervosity of, oh my God, I'm gonna seduce this person now. And being really, really aware of what is happening in the body so you can feel it to heal it. And eventually you can make a lasting shift and breaking through those limits that we all have in one way or the other. But in order to really do that, it's very important that we are in a sober space so we really can feel, okay, how is my body reacting? What is the state of my nervous system? Because if I'm taking alcohol, my nervous system is agitated naturally.
Yeah.
So if I would not want to close my eyes, sit and meditate when I'm drunk, because it might be a lot of things happening and it was like, oh, I think I need to vomit, right? So it's more like an outwards thing. So it's really the ability to connect inwards that is that we want to train and to really speak into what is alive. So many people, I see this so often, um, they think themselves into feeling. So the mind tells them what they're feeling. And often there's a big disconnection between what they think, how they're feeling, and what is actually there in the body, and what is actually really the senses that are telling us something. So it's about recultivating this connection to feel from the body,
Yeah.
and then using also our mind as a beautiful ally, but reminding the wisdom that is within our body. And this is easier done when we can focus, when we're not distracted, overstimulated in any way by intoxication.
I really like what you say about the getting into the body, the senses, and the connection with the mind. What many people don't know about mind training and use techniques of hypnosis is that actually you have two kinds of mind, so to say. You have your present mind, your conscious mind, and there's the subconscious mind. And whenever I work with my clients and they find that they are not enjoying it so much, or they run into like a trauma or shock whenever they get to intimacy moment, they want to be intimated, have intimacy, and they want to be playful, but they just freeze or they log out. Typically, what is there is that they consciously want to continue there, but subconsciously, somewhere in the body, there's a trauma, something from the past, some limiting beliefs, and that's really in the more in the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind and the body really work a lot together. So in the exercises I do then, we work with senses in combination with accessing your subconscious mind. And you will find that by certain feelings you get, like for example, this feeling in the body that as soon as you're nice, you're getting a bit on the bed and you're getting a bit undressed and you want to be more play a bit more, but then you freeze, then we will discover, okay, what is actually that feeling that's coming up? Because it's may not be part of you, but it may be a limiting belief or an experience from the past that now got locked into your body and is triggered. So it's very curious what you say there, that you really focus on, okay, what's the body telling, and how can you utilize that in a safe space? What kind of typical problems or challenges do these participants have, and what kind of profile do they have when they join?
The thing that is connecting all of them is the desire to feel more free and to feel more connected to themselves and to be free to fully express themselves. So to have that deeper sense of intimacy with someone else, but residing from that self-knowledge or from that self-knowing. So a lot of people who come there, they have a tendency to people please. They don't know how to really express their desires. They are afraid to express their desires because they're afraid to be judged for the very thing that they're desiring. So they'd rather amend to these desires from somebody else. There's people who have a hard time in putting boundaries, really needing to learn how to speak up and putting boundaries, which also comes back to the people pleasing.
What is the example of a boundary in this case?
Well, people who are having a hard time, many women, I have to say, that are encountering a hard time to say no. So let's say you're in a sensual connection, and all of a sudden the man wants to go to touch the vulva, and you're not ready for that, but you're allowed to have it happen because you feel that in order for him to like you, you have to allow this. So then you don't say anything and you're like, okay. And then in the end, it does feel nice because there is some stimulation. But the truth was that you didn't want this to happen, but you did allow this to happen. And I think many female listeners resonate with that. Maybe also men who resonate with that, but mostly, unfortunately, it's women who have a hard time in speaking the boundary, because there's this idea, if I put the boundary in saying no, this is translated to rejection, this is gonna lead to him not being interested in me anymore or whatsoever. There's a lot of ideas, conditionings,
scenarios,
exactly, coming
anxieties,
coming in. So yeah, but I would say despite whether people are more on the having difficulties in expressing desires, knowing what they want, asking for what they want, knowing what they don't want, which comes naturally with that. So it's this desire of getting to know yourself, getting to know those desires, learning how to navigate in intimate encounters, which is a big game changer, because if you master the bedroom, you master any other activity. This erotic leadership is spreading out into all areas of your life. This is a new built confidence that is rippling out. We always say in BliXX, from the bedroom to the boardroom.
It's a big step, bedroom, boardroom.
But it's the same. I mean, it's the same. It's your energy. It's your mastery of your energy. And when you stand in your leadership in your bedroom, you stand in your leadership in the boardroom as well. If you know how to speak for what you want, if you know how to speak up for what you don't want, if you know how to navigate difficult conversations, nothing is in your way anymore to embody that leader in no matter what settings. And what I see very often is that people say like, wow, I learned this tool and I used it at work and it worked wonders. It's like, yeah, it doesn't really matter where you use it, because those tools that we are working with, those connection to the body, the connection to desires, all of that, this is affecting all areas of life.
What comes to my mind in this part is, for example, that some people come to me, or in general, when they consider hypnosis as a way to resolve certain things that are not going good in their life, that they want to change, is the like if you don't the sexual energy, the sexual life force is very strong. So if you try to suppress that or to block that, or you have not worked a lot on healing yourself on that part, it will come out in another part of your life. So for example, if you have for example, with polarity, you have the desire to be a bit more submissive or a bit more dominant. But let's take the example of submissive, which is quite common with in general with women. Then what can happen if you are not connected in the bedroom, so to say? Then at other places, like at work, for example, you can unconsciously take a bit more submissive role. So for example, someone is requesting you, can you do this task for me and also maybe that and make that better? And you go to, oh yes, I will do that, and I will actually submit to all those demands that I get at my work. So
absolutely.
To a point that it will become unhealthy, because everybody is like, okay, I can ask you for the work because you will say yes and you will submit to everything. Instead of that, you start communicating, wait, this is my boundary. I can do that and that's what I do, but that other task I won't do for you. I don't want to plan that. My agenda is full for that. So
absolutely, yeah.
So maybe with the clients you work one-on-one, you may notice perhaps something similar, that When you work on their sex and on their feeling of authentic masculinity or femininity, that they become really more connected to this life force and also to expressing themselves, knowing themselves. I can say things without um, having to be afraid that I will be abandoned or that it will translate to other parts in their life. And suddenly, at work, you will do better because you're no longer doing the too much submissive role. You're getting things done, but then you can reserve this submissive desire for the bedroom and play that with your play partner or with your love
Absolutely.
partner.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a beautiful example that you brought up, and everything in life is polarity, right? There's always one person who is leading and always one person who is following. So whenever there's an encounter, there's always a power dynamic. Even if we say like, no, we're equals, you cannot be fully equals. There's always a sort of power dynamic, and as you said, is like do that task. Okay, one is asking, the other one is following or not following. So it's not about rejecting or judging yourself for, oh fuck, I'm like this submissive and I do everything. It's more about like, okay, no, I'm owning that my go-to in life is a submissive role, but I can be very empowered in that submissive state by knowing my boundaries, by being clear on how much my capacity is. And also, as you said, like it's starting to work with this more consciously is taking away the charge in normal life. So if I'm very submissive and I allow myself to be this in bed, then I have a place where I can act out this desire. And it might not be controlling me so much in my other relationships, in my work relationships. So it's like bringing more consciousness around this and learning how to hold yourself and lead yourself um, through getting to know your go-to, either it is submissive or is it dominant. And if people are like, no, I'm all the time dominant, I really recommend you to be submissive to break that pattern as well, right? Especially men. I work with a lot of men who are CEOs who are standing really strong in their life, who are entrepreneurs, and they're like, yeah, I'm like very dominant and
Yeah,
chun,
yeah,
chun,
yeah.
chun, chun. And then in the end, what they want is to be a slave and to be taken and to be submissive and to have that the counterpole that gives them to have that space where they can let go of control for once, where they don't have to hold it all together for once. So
They
also
don't have to be responsible for this moment. They
exactly.
can like
They
surrender
can
and let
just
go a bit to
surrender and let
receive.
go.
Yeah, because you
Exactly.
use the word slave in this context. Now, for our viewers, that may be quite, do we have to be a slave? Will I be tied together? And as in ancient times. What probably you mean something more accessible. A slave, it's like
Exactly. Master and slave is a very popular dynamic in BDSM. This is very classic, ritualistic domination, submission, power dynamics. Of course, it can also be the dom and the sub. If you feel
yeah.
like, oh no, slave doesn't really land in me. I know people have their connotations with the word slave. For me, I think it's a nice playground to take off the charge of the word and also do some healing for yourself around that as well. Um, to play with it consciously when you feel like, oh, this is triggering me. I don't really want to connect with that due to all this societal, historical um, meaning on it. It's nice because we do the healing. If we can change our relationship with the word, you're part of the collective and it ripples out also. So master slave, thumbs up, whatever you want to call it. There are many different dynamics in BliXX. In our retreats, we work with the different archetypes of power dynamics, and we really go deeper into experiencing both sides of each dynamic. There is also the more cheeky, submissive, who is a little bit hard to be disciplined, like the naughty girl or the
Yeah,
naughty
yeah.
boy. And then you have the teacher on the other side, or it's also often referred as daddy, which might also be like a, oh God, I don't want to be a daddy. I can only be a dad with a child, right? So now this is all consensual. As I said, consent is the base of everything. And whatever you want to play, whatever flavor you want to take, and you explore different flavors and different roles. And for me, this is the real gift of conscious kink. By putting myself into different flavors, different energies, on different sides of the power dynamic, I learned to be much more flexible in slipping in and out of roles in all my life. Because we all have multiple roles to play in our lives. If you're a parent, you're the role of the parent. You are a daughter or a son yourself. If your parents are still alive, you're having this role. You're having the role in your work as a professional. You're having the role as a partner, as a lover, as a seducer. So we all have multiple roles to play in our life, and being really aware about how I am bringing my authentic self-expression in all of those roles is 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 enabling me to feel more myself in no matter what role I'm slipping in, and also enabling me to come home from work and to take off that role and to come quicker into the role of the lover. Many people, they're like, wow, I've been working, I'd rather hang on my phone or binge watch some Netflix because I don't have the energy so much. Really, if you, the more you slip in and out of roles through conscious kink play, through those dynamics, the more easier it comes to you in every moment to switch and to step into a different role and to step into a different role. And this is where we start to become really fluid and really like dancing with life.
Yeah, also with work there, you have someone that's the team lead, and then you have some people that working with that team, and it's a bit similar to, maybe not slave is a good word for that, but it's a role that you take, and still in that part, if something happens there that's really crossing your boundaries, then you can still say no. Look, chief, this is not the right thing that you should be doing. For the listeners, if they want to have a simple exercise, something they just can try out, because this kink, I have all kinds of accessories here, from masks to all kinds of stuff. But what will be a simple exercise to get started with conscious kink and get a bit curious, maybe as a step up for then considering going to one of those workshops or safe spaces. Do you recommend something? Do you have some exercise there?
I would like to propose an exercise that is called the Dom stand. So it's a
Dom
body
stand.
posture that is connecting us to that really strong energy of I'm the leader, I'm the creator, I'm in charge, I take responsibility. So
Okay,
this
how does that
really
work?
keep,
I'm standing
yes,
here, so yeah.
exactly. So we take a deep breath in first, exhaling through the mouth. Ah.
Ah,
And then you breathe in and you bring your hands on your hips. And you exhale. And you just feel how your chest is open. Feeling this energy of like, yes, I got it all. I'm in control. I'm creating my life. I'm the leader of my life. I'm breathing into this posture. And if there's anything like a little thing that you want to say to yourself, like, yes, you got this, or maybe like, I am the creator, you can do that. To
I'm the creator of
emphasize.
great interviews. Excellent hosts.
Yes, yes. And feeling that, feeling the pride in your open chest.
I'm helping people lead their better sexual lives and connecting with their intimacy.
Yes. Really feeling this, the power, the strength that is residing in your body to move ahead, to roar ahead, full power. And taking a last deep breath in.
Ah.
And slowly letting go of that posture. Feeling your body as intimate as possible after this. Mm. And knowing that you can always come back to this posture whenever you need that strength, that confidence, that knowing that you are the creator of an amazing podcast helping people to shift their intimacy. Exactly. I like the
Wow.
way how proud you're standing
Yeah,
there.
yeah, really nice, Ariane. I'm really curious for the people watching of this video. Please leave in the comments to this video. What did you feel? How did this dance go? What will you present? Like I said, I'm a great host. I can really facilitate good interviews. What was your point that you really want to come across? So, under this video, please give a like and subscribe and leave a comment what you felt when you did this exercise. You have some upcoming events. Where can people like connect with you and find you if they want to know more?
I'm hosting one-day events and weekenders in and around Amsterdam, the Netherlands. And then I also have BliXX, my brand, where we're hosting longer retreats for couples to spice it up a little bit more, and also for individuals to work with conscious kink as a path for personal development. Best thing is to find me on Hipsy with Ariane Lalakea. I'm also gonna put this there and there. I have a quite active Instagram where you can follow me. And also I'm gonna put the website of BliXX there if you feel like going into a deeper container. Then reach out and let's have a conversation.
Well, thanks so much, Ariana, that you were
Thank you,
available for this
Quintus.
interview. And yeah, great exercise. Start practicing with it. And I hope to see you soon in one of the other events you have. And if people have questions then and want to know a bit more follow up, we can do another interview. So also, if you have questions, more questions about these topics, please let them know in the chat below the video. So we can, if we have enough questions, we can make a follow up. Vlog on this topic.
This topic is so rich. I could go on and on and on and on, and I really enjoyed talking with you. So thank you for having me here.
Thanks. This is Quintus Hegie from Subconscious Mind Training, and you can find this interview also on my channels www.subconsciousmindtraining.com. Great. See you there, and thanks so much, Ariana.